You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show.
Hello everybody, Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another after show for ABC Family's Twisted, Season 1, Episode 6, 3 for the Road. I'm Jason Ikeler, and joining me tonight...
I'm Heather Joy Smith.
And I'm Stephen Lemieux.
And Lena is out tonight. She had knee surgery today, so we're wishing her all the get wellness in the world.
Recovery.
Yes,
Speedy
get well,
recovery.
Lena.
She'll be back with us next week, hopefully.
That was our twist for tonight.
That's our
Lena
twist for
wasn't
tonight.
here.
What happened to Lena? Dun,
There
dun,
you
dun.
go.
So let's start by talking about this weird kind of thing that happened with Karen and Tess, Lacey's mom and Danny's mom.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that the two, I actually like their friendship, but we noticed while we were watching there was a little bit of lesbian tension.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were going to like make out, finish the pot, or end up hating each other at the end.
Well, and
of the
that's
scene.
kind of always like the go-to scene right before couples hook up in shows where they're like
Yes.
molding a clay pot and music is going.
I
It's very
cannot.
sexual.
I can't
Very
see.
ghost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
We were
That's
talking
what we
about that.
said.
I was actually thinking it takes two.
Yeah. Well, I cannot think when you have two women making a pot and their hands are on each other, like and
Well, and they were
whole-
like giving each other the eyes.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were totally
Looking.
staring into each other's eyes and like, oh,
every time I
this pot is
paused the
great.
TV, it was like. Like
What's
it
gonna happen?
was seriously, like it was seriously. We paused the TV and we're like,
We
so.
gave Steven a few minutes by himself. Just
Hey,
kidding.
you guys actually agreed with me this episode.
No, we think. Well, Karen has a rockin' bod.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Like
they
rockin'.
disagreed with me at the beginning of the season.
No, I've always thought she's been hot.
But this episode,
Yeah.
she looked
She
pretty
looked
good.
really good.
There you
So
go.
this all happened when Karen went to Tess's house and knocked on her door, and we find out that Joe is missing, and Karen's like, hey, you know what? Joe's probably off with Danny.
And then Debbie Downer Kyle comes down.
Kyle gets pissed, and he tries to, like, brush her off, but they end up hanging out anyway. And so while they're making this, it comes out that Karen got in a fight with Vic, her dead husband, right before he died.
It's just such a terrible way of
I
putting
know.
it.
Well, what,
Her late husband.
Her late husband.
Which it also goes back to, she did say that he was drunk that night. So it goes back saying, he was drunk. He was out on his boat that night. So,
He was an alcoholic,
yeah.
and that was the night he died.
Which is, I mean, we'll find out more later in the episode that this is a little bit suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering, do you guys think that fight had anything to do with it? Or you think it was just like things ended on a bad term?
Wait, you think that fight had anything to do with what?
Him going missing or him being dead or
Oh,
you know
him
what I mean?
dying. I don't know. Do you think the fact of his past relationship with Tess has anything to do with the fight in the beginning with?
I don't
Well, I
know.
guess no, because Karen didn't know that they had anything. But do you think that the fight could have been
Yeah, well,
caused
she
by
knew
him
that
spending?
she knew they used to date, but it comes out that they were still hooking up when she was together, and Karen gets pissed.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of weird though, because it was so long ago. It was when they were in high school. So I feel like something like that you almost laugh about. Like,
Do you
oh,
think
you
that-
lied to me when I was 15. Who cares?
But do you think maybe this was a relationship that continued on throughout their marriage and maybe didn't even stop?
Oh.
Like
That's
they
the thing,
continuously were having an affair the entire time. Is probably what Karen was thinking. Is like,
Oh, that didn't even cross my
because
mind.
she
That's
said like, well,
interesting.
how many times did you guys hook up? And Tess says, oh, well, just that one time. Well, maybe not. It was actually a few more times. But she wasn't really exactly clear on how many times they did.
Well, because she didn't obviously mean to have that come out. It
Yeah,
just, she was,
it was-
super high, and it just kind of
it
she's
slipped.
joking around. Whoopsie.
Well, there you go. And yeah.
So, do you think that has something to do with his going missing, or you think it's just
I think
an ongoing thing?
I think the fight that they might have had something to do with him, maybe the possibility of him having an affair.
Okay.
And Karen like yelling like, well, where are you for this? Where are you for this? I don't need this right now. And goes off drunk and goes onto his boat. I mean, I don't know. We don't get too much about them, but we do know now that Tess and Vikram had something going for him. And I don't even think that Kyle knows that.
Well, and this was sort of an interesting way for her to bring it up too, just because Karen had just got done saying like, we were in this huge fight before he died. And then she's like, oh, by the way, I also slept with your husband.
Yeah.
Sucker.
Well, they were high.
Yeah.
They did get a little bit stoned out of their minds.
But then they like had some really good moments too, like when Tess was telling Karen, like, you're really not a bad mom. I don't know why I told you that. And they giggle about it. I don't know. I actually enjoy their relationship.
I think they'll actually have a relationship now.
Yeah.
Where it's not so fake. I think they're actually going to be genuine after
Well, and
this
Karen
point.
doesn't really have anybody in the town.
No, she doesn't.
Well, I think it was also her reaction to Tess telling her that she slept with Vikram those times. It's also that, I mean, her relationship with Danny is slowly deteriorating. And especially now, like that night where Danny kind of blew her off when they had that conversation and he just didn't want to talk, and she was honestly just doing everything for his, like trying to help him out. She doesn't like being lied to. He lied to her about
I think
the
that's part
necklace.
of the reason she ran off, because she doesn't really have anybody she can trust right now. Because we know now that she's kind of suspicious if Danny killed Regina or not because of the necklace.
And she says, if.
Yeah.
It's like, if you didn't do anything, the police will
Big
find
if,
it.
too.
Yeah, and Danny's like, oh, if. Thanks, Ma.
Which is interesting, though, because I've thought since she found the necklace that she's been a little suspicious.
Yeah, well, now we know she is.
Of Danny. Now we know that's true. But I don't know. Do we think... I have a feeling that this is just going to fade away and she's just going to think he's innocent. I don't think anything's going to happen.
Unless somebody tries to frame him again at the end of the season, and that's what the second season's about.
That's true.
Hey, yo.
Do we want to bring up the point that tonight Danny said that the reason why he had the necklace in his possession was because somebody put it in his locker trying to frame him.
Let's talk about that.
And he was going to hopefully set up the murderer who actually did it.
Yeah, he wanted to replant the necklace on whoever he found out put
See,
it on him
I
in the
have a
first
feeling
place.
that whoever planted the necklace, I don't think it had anything to do with who was the murderer. I think it was just somebody maybe in high school or something. You know what I mean?
Just like
But
a
how would they-
random occurrence.
Like, I don't think it... Because I don't think somebody in the high school murdered Regina. I think what we said, like, last week, it was the mayor or somebody. I think there was a more elaborate scheme, and I think planting the necklace was just a random person at the party.
Okay, no.
No.
I mean, it just wouldn't make sense because it was on her when she died, and then it was off her when... Because we saw it on her at the party, and then it was in his locker next.
But that would have...
So I could definitely see if it was the mayor, he takes the necklace off of Regina after he supposedly kills her. He obviously knows that Danny's at the high school, and he can find his locker and put it in there. If it was him.
I just think if it was like an adult like that, like we're all assuming, it'd be really hard for them to like... I guess if it was a police, they could have done their questioning people in the high school. I don't know. I just get the feeling that it's not... I think it's almost too obvious that happened.
You know what storyline they dropped pretty quickly? Karen and the principal.
Oh, yeah.
So the principal would have had access to do that. I don't know how he would be involved.
I think that storyline was more just to get the feeling that like Karen's doesn't have it all together. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
she doesn't really have a clear black and white moral. Yeah, was it the first episode?
Was that in the first or
second?
second?
It was the
first or second one.
Okay, if it was in the first, I could see that being as something in the pilot that they dropped. But if it was in the second, I think they'll bring it back.
I think maybe we'll see her doing, obviously, I mean, even with her character tonight, she's not afraid to cover up for her son. And she'll do whatever it takes to cover up. So if that's hiding evidence or if that's letting the principal brush her hair, she's down for whatever.
Maybe she'll try to seduce Kyle after he comes up to her with this new information.
That'd actually be, I wouldn't,
Wouldn't put it past her?
No.
Wouldn't be the worst idea. So her and Tess, after this big fight, she ends up making up with her and she goes back over to Tess and they apologize and their friendship's back on good terms. And Karen kind of opens up again and is like, you know, I don't have a job. I don't have any hobbies. I don't really have anything to do.
Why don't you get a job?
Her face was like,
do you
no.
think it's hard for her in the town to get a job, though?
Oh, yeah,
It could be.
definitely.
That's what I think, too. I think it's so small of a town that she couldn't really, nobody's going to hire her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that, and she's just kind of...
And I don't really see her taking, like, a shitty side job, you know?
No. Maybe she'll just do the pottery class with Danny.
She becomes a pottery expert.
Mother-son pottery.
How cute.
That's a good hobby.
Murder and Co. So, Danny, what kind of pot did you make?
A gun.
It's a jump rope.
Oh my God.
It's a ceramic jump rope.
Speaking of murder, I want to remind everybody to go to serialbuddies.com, and it is a website for a serial killer comedy made by everybody here at AfterBuzz, and it's got tons of great people in it. Beth Bears from Two Broke Girls, Kathy Lee Gifford, Artie Lang, Maria Menounos is in it. And all of the money from Serial Buddies goes back into AfterBuzz so we can keep giving you these podcasts for free. It's like $4 or $5. And again, if you go to serialbuddies.com, it'll give you links for all the digital downloads on Amazon or iTunes.
That is very true.
Very correct.
Do it.
So now we've also got to talk about this weird thing going on between Kyle and Rico.
Awkward.
It's kind of interesting because at first when we see Rico in the episode...
Well, let's do Rico and Joe and then go into Kyle and
Yeah,
Rico.
that's what I want to talk about. Rico calls Joe out for liking Danny, which we kind of get the vibe, too, that Rico has something for Joe. Did anybody else get that?
Oh, yeah, last
Okay.
episode.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I feel like Joe kind of noticed.
I
Yes,
thought,
this
I thought,
episode she did.
yeah. I mean,
Not last time. I think this time
Yeah.
because he seemed like really upset about it. And he called Danny a friend that she wants to mate with.
She goes,
But
I'm
she
not
doesn't-
a zebra.
But she doesn't like deny it either to him, which obviously when we see the trailer for next week.
well, I mean, she does
Maybe.
kind of deny
There's
it, where
some-
she's like, no.
But it's like an
Looking off
obvious
looking off to the
denial,
left, yeah.
I don't like him.
Which is weird,
Boys
honestly,
have
because
cooties.
like your best friends are the people you would talk
But
about
I
with
think
their
she
crushes
knows
to.
Joe, or I think she knows Rico has a thing for her.
Yeah, so
and
she
that's
wouldn't
why
say
she's
that.
not going to talk about it. But it's interesting because I think she'd be better with Rico, somebody like Rico.
I think so too.
And you notice she's wearing makeup this episode.
Yeah, that's true.
She's always trying to look good for Danny.
Trying to sex it up a little
We'll
bit.
get into that storyline with the
Yeah.
three of them, but yeah.
Which is all very interesting. So Joe tells her parents that she was going to be with Rico. So Rico, was he at the school?
At the diner.
He was at
No,
he
Rico
was at
was
the
at-
diner.
He was supposed to
He
be
was
at-
supposed to be
he
at
was
the
supposed to
diner,
be at the
but
diner.
when Kyle found him, he was at the school.
Yes.
So Kyle approaches him and is like, "Hey, where's Joe?" And Rico's like, "Joe," and then he tries to cover up for her, which is really funny. He's like, "Oh, she's on her way here. She's running very late."
But Joe getting out of her parents' house like that to go out on the road trip that we'll talk about later, it's like, I did not like Tess in this scene. For the fact that, like, okay, her dad has a point. I mean, he's kind of course, I always say Kyle's kind of a dick, but he has a point. I mean, she told him earlier that the diner is closed tonight because they have a private party. And then she told him that he wasn't hanging out with Rico. And then she tries to use that as an excuse. It's like, girl, get your excuses right. Like, girl, get your life.
I agree with you on that too, but to play devil's advocate, he's kind of given her no choice but to lie to her. Because if she said, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to hang out with Danny and Lacey," he would say, "No, you're staying in."
Yeah, but honestly,
And I think that's why her mom was sticking up for her in this situation too, because I don't think her mom thinks that Danny's guilty. And so she is trying to be like, just let it go, not, you know. And it's
Okay.
the whole family's kind of torn over this.
But she could have done a better excuse than telling, even then, because the truth is, hey, I'm going with Danny and Lacey. We're going to go to some sketchy apartment in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's going to
But, I mean,
violate his parole, and we're going to be on this car that, oh, Lacey's borrowing her dad's car, going out of state lines.
No, I get that, but at the same time too, Joe's not the type of person that would normally lie to her parents. So I think that's why she can't really pull it off. Like, I'm
True.
sure Lacey could have lied to her mom a lot better, and it was smooth. But I think, too, it's kind of fun to just see her be a normal kid. You know? Who didn't lie to their parents in high school? Guess that was just me? No? Okay, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. I
FYI.
thought you were waiting for someone to raise their hand saying that they didn't lie to
Oh,
their
I
parents.
just thought you were going to chime in.
Oh, no.
Awkward silence.
But okay, so after her dad said, "Oh, you can't go," and everything,
Yeah.
we all knew she was still gonna go, and I think even her
I
mom
actually
knew.
was not sure, because then it kind of seemed like Danny wasn't going to go either when he was talking to his mom. So I don't know. I was a little shocked.
Oh, you thought his mom was going to keep him home?
Yeah.
Yeah, until he left, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And then you're like, okay,
Then
now it's
they're
all
all
going.
going.
So anyway, Rico goes to the police station to hang out with Kyle. And he's kind of got this guilty thing going on where he wants to tell Kyle about the necklace, but then he's afraid to. And he finally brings up the necklace, and Kyle starts just questioning him, and then he feels bad.
Well, before he gets to the police station, the last thing he says to Kyle is, "Officer or Sergeant, uphold and protect the law." Like the most awkward.
So funny. I actually think he's the best actor on the show, though.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty realistic, I think. For like a...
He's believable for
Yeah.
the goofy friend.
I really like him. So Kyle threatens Rico with jail time. He's like, if you're withholding evidence from the law, you can, in a major crime, you can go to jail. And it's like, oh, now I feel safe to trust you.
And Rico basically goes, well, screw you, I'm out.
I know.
And leaves.
Which I kind of like because I didn't think he was that ballsy to just leave.
Yeah, I thought he was going to give it up right then. But
Right
he
then
didn't.
and there. He held out a little bit. But then he returns to the police station. He didn't hold out for that long.
Snitches.
And he's like, I want to protect Joe even if what I'm saying is going to hurt her. And so he tells that, which I don't think this is a very good case. I saw Danny's mom throw something that could have been a necklace into a river.
It glinted.
Yeah. So, like, that's going to hold up in a court of law. Well, this boy saw you throw something that could have been something that we don't even know if your son has, but just in case he has it, and then you found it. Somebody saw you threw what looked like that into a river.
When it was really dark and
When
we
it was
couldn't
really
even
dark
tell
at
who was
night.
looking.
If Rico had no idea about that necklace, there's no
He
way
wouldn't have thought anything
he would
suspicious
have
was
never
up.
thought anything about that.
Unless they, like, searched the water or something.
I think they
Which I could see.
probably
I could
will
see
now.
Kyle wasting the county's money on that.
I don't think the mayor will let him. Well, maybe if the mayor did set up Danny, he would let him.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's very interesting.
Aha. But
So we find out too, though, that Kyle, the reason he tells Rico that he really is worried that Danny's gonna hurt Joe, which I don't think he is.
He's not.
Okay, so Rico knows Danny. Rico probably doesn't really think that Danny killed Regina, but this is more of a Joe's getting close to Danny, so I got to get
Do you
Danny
think
out
it's
of this.
that manipulative?
I think it is subconsciously.
Okay,
'Cause
because
I-
I think he's just young and confused.
I think he's a little bit scared of Danny.
Yeah.
Like he still just doesn't understand the whole situation.
Well, because even if he didn't kill Regina, he still killed somebody at some point in his
exactly.
life.
Well, yeah.
So I think he's a little scared still of that.
Well, he's also doesn't want Joe ending up with Danny. It's like a subconscious
Yeah,
manipulation.
I can see that. It's all
Yeah.
very interesting. So before we get into the big road trip, we want to remind everybody to go onto iTunes.
I beat you to it.
iTunes, and rate and subscribe to the Twisted After Show. Give us 5 stars and lots of comments, and comment on the YouTube page. We love hearing what you guys have to say, and we will write back to you. So let's talk about this road trip. So we find out at the beginning of the episode that there was $2,000 in the envelope that Lacey found of Regina's, and it came from Connecticut.
Came from apartment 403 at the apartment building in Connecticut.
413.
For 13.
Steven.
Did I say 403?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh, sorry, I meant
Mr.
413.
Details. I'm just kidding.
Hey, if you want Tess's phone number
I know,
though.
we know.
We know you have
So
that.
Joe tries to convince them to tell her dad, like, let's just bring this to my dad. And I think she more, not for the case, but more just to get her dad's back off of her about Danny. Like, no, Dad, he's not the only one that you should be looking after. But Lacey's scared and she wants to protect Regina because obviously this makes Regina look pretty suspicious
Yeah.
if somebody's sending her $2,000 worth of money in an envelope from Connecticut.
Maybe it was child support and we don't know something about Regina.
Oh,
Hey, yeah. But no, I don't know.
very
It's
interesting.
just it's what would $2,000 be? I mean, that's a lot of money to someone who's in high school.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, when you're blackmailing someone,
Well, that's why it either looks like somebody's paying her for sex or she's blackmailing somebody.
And I have a feeling that it wasn't just a one-time thing that
Yeah.
this person sent her $2,000 on one occasion. I have a feeling it was over time. She was getting different payments.
Like just
oh yeah,
paychecks.
this was the
Yeah.
last payment of
Checks on
Yeah,
checks
this-
on
$2,000.
yeah.
checks
Yes, this is the last payment. So obviously it had happened.
before.
Definitely.
So Danny and Lacey decide they're going to go on this road trip, and Joe doesn't think she's going to be able to go because of her dad. But then obviously we find out she sneaks out to go on the road trip. So they're in this car ride, and it's super awkward. Lacey and Joe are kind of going at it. And I think normally before last week, which it's almost like the way Joe is acting, it's almost like she knows Lacey and Danny made out. But she doesn't, right?
No.
But she's acting like that. And so it's like she's strangely jealous of Lacey this time because before she was trying to be her friend.
I feel like
And they
every
ha-
week they're so hot or cold. Like
Yeah,
you
because
never know
last
what you're
week
gonna
at the
get.
sleepover, they had this great moment where you thought they were
Yes.
going to be okay. And I would get if Joe knew that Lacey and Danny made out, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah, so they're all like I don't understand them. It's like we're missing something a little bit, like we miss a scene or something with them, and then they're
Yeah.
pissed off at each other.
Well, I mean, I get why Joe maybe, I don't know. It's weird.
maybe it's because
I think it's maybe because she gets what she wants and then she realizes, like, oh, this is why I didn't want to be your friend because she screwed me over.
Well, I think maybe Joe just knows that something's up between Danny and
Lacey.
I mean, after they walk into the diner, and I think that's like, she's like, oh, so you're just another thing you're stealing from me. You got to be the popular girl. You got to get the guy.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
So Danny tries to help them. He locks them out of the car and nothing happens, which I would be so pissed if I was fighting with somebody.
You get locked
He's like,
out.
you're not getting in here.
I'm surprised they didn't bust through the window.
Well, I thought they were going to get into like a screaming match outside of the car, but they're just like, I'm sorry, let us back in.
It was completely fake.
But he's got to know too, because do you think he's oblivious to the fact that Joe wants him?
No, he can't be.
So don't you think you can feel that tension though? Because he knows him and Lacey have done things. Maybe Lacey even thinks that he told Joe.
Maybe Lacey
maybe.
thinks they would have done things on this car trip if Joe didn't
That's
come
why I was
along.
thinking.
That's
That's why I
right,
was
yeah.
thinking Lacey was pissed that Joe showed up.
Yeah, it's like third wheel. And like
She's trying to get it in.
Well, it's like Joe knows. It feels like Joe knows that they're doing something or that they did something, and Joe's trying to be a cock block. I mean, that's what it feels
Yeah,
like.
but then Lacey feels like Joe's cock blocking.
Well,
but
'cause
then at
even-
the same time, Joe's probably like, I can't believe you're hooking up with this girl that screwed me over so many times.
Yeah, but even at the school, like Lacey and Danny are talking, and Joe just shows up. Hey, what are we talking about, guys? Hey, hey.
She was kind of the awkward third wheel.
Like it was.
Can I break this up?
It really felt like that.
So it's really weird, but they end up at the apartment complex, and the security guard won't let them go up, and so they kind of get in another fight, like, which I thought Joe's idea was good. Just act like if you just walk up in a complex, people will think that you're okay. You know what I mean? If you just go directly to where you're going, I don't think it would be that shady.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're showing up at like what 2 a.m. with a security guard at night who probably knows everyone who usually comes in after 2 a.m. He's gonna ask questions. He's not gonna let you keep going. You're just 3 teenagers.
I don't know. I think if they looked like they knew what they were doing, I wouldn't question it.
That
Personally, maybe that's just
The
me.
security guy did know quite a bit about the residents that were living
Yeah, well,
there.
because
Yeah.
we
That
didn't
we
realize
found
that
out.
resident 413 was dead.
Yes.
So they go back outside, and that's when it all comes out that Lacey screwed Joe over in middle school. She didn't invite her to the party.
And-
it's clearly still a sore subject for Joe. She is not getting over it. So
5
Joe
years
and
later.
Danny talk, which I thought was a good moment. And then Danny tries to jump the fence and go into the apartment. And so he goes up there, and the door's unlocked, which I thought was very fishy. Because if the apartment was from a dead person, don't you think that would be like dead bolted and shut?
Yeah.
It'd be
It's
at
almost
least
like somebody's
locked.
been in there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, somebody's been in there. Somebody who knows that was his dad's apartment.
Yeah.
Perhaps somebody. What if? Okay, random thought.
Okay.
What if Danny's dad was having an affair with Regina's mom,
Regina's.
with Miss Crane?
And Danny's paying Regina off because she's threatening to talk about it.
I mean, something like
I
that.
don't think.
But what,
I hate to bring up Pretty Little Liars in this podcast because I do it all the time, but that plot is so similar to Pretty Little Liars that I don't think ABC Family would do that
I don't know.
Potentially.
I've never seen Pretty Little Liars.
because it's like
so-
literally identical
But
I don't know if you-
to Arya's dad.
But let me
Yeah.
let me finish real quick.
'Kay.
So, what if the person who Yeah, but then why would she send that envelope to Regina? So I guess it doesn't make sense if she was living there. Somebody was living there, and we got to
But are
figure out
you
who was living
thinking?
there.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't know if his dad is really dead.
No.
They
True.
never found the body.
The guard would have seen him though if he was going in and out of that apartment.
But so, if he lived here, so we'll just say we find out. Let's just get this out. Joe and Lacey get onto the computer, and they find out that
Vikram
Danny's
Desai.
dad has been living in this apartment.
Called it.
So, Danny's dad and mom were still together when he died, correct?
Yes.
So either if
How
he
long
had,
ago did he die though? That's my
I
question.
think it was like
I think it was when Danny was a kid, right?
Like while he was in juvie.
Yeah.
But like, was it years ago or was it months ago? Because they say nobody's been living there for a few months.
Yeah. So either that's what I'm trying to figure out too, because if he had this apartment while he was still alive, living with Danny and his mom, then obviously he had a double life going on.
And you think,
Or he's been alive and he's been living here this whole time up until a few months ago, and either he really did die, which I doubt, or maybe he's taken off now that Danny's out of jail. Because where did they live at?
they live in New York, and this was in Connecticut.
So how close is that in
It
proximity?
could be like an hour
Yeah.
to 3 hours.
but okay,
so
so,
it's realistic that he wouldn't want to be in that area.
but also he could have never lived there to begin with. I want to say
oh,
that.
that's true too.
Because the name is just the name that's put on the lease, and that's probably what's in the directory. So he could have been paying for the apartment for somebody else.
Or somebody could be trying to frame him too. Because we don't know why he disappeared. Somebody could have been blackmailing him too.
True. We don't know why Karen and him were fighting.
Which
Anyway.
I think this is obviously going to keep building because we didn't even know that they were fighting up until tonight, or that he obviously is a little bit of a cheater. So there's a lot of a lot of possibilities.
We learned a lot tonight.
I know, I feel a little
This episode was
overwhelmed.
filled with like so much stuff that actually we learned things and things came about that we didn't know.
So now we find out too that Joe and Lacey have this secret that they're not going to tell Danny. So this is going to bring them together.
Which I think sucks because I think Danny probably knows something we don't. That if they told him that, he'd be like, "Oh, this makes so much sense now," because we still don't know why he killed his aunt.
But I don't think Danny knows his dad is alive.
We don't know if his dad's alive either.
I don't understand why
I
they
think
just
he
wouldn't
is,
tell
don't
him,
you?
Though. I think he is.
I think this kind of proves he is.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe not.
We'll see.
Do you guys want to get into some news and gossip, or do you have anything to add first?
So of course they fooled the security guard with the Angela Peck story.
Yep.
Which was she has married and had 4 kids, which was pretty
kind
good.
of funny. I did like seeing them work together though, to scheme together, because I think the two of them, if they would just get along, they'd solve things a lot faster.
Yeah, it's like back to the old day where all 3 of them were together. And then we see a shot of Kyle before Rico walks in, finally telling him, where he's looking at his cell phone, and he sees it shows the number, but whatever about the number, it just shows that he kind of realizes that his marriage isn't where he really wants it to be.
Yeah, because it's just Tess's number.
Yeah, and it shows him like, should I call her? Should I not? Like, he feels bad.
Yeah.
And I guess he's kind of starting to. Danny's dad died about 5 months before Danny got released.
Somebody tweet?
Yep, somebody tweeted.
Cool.
So Danny's dad died about 5 months before Danny got released, so that would be.
Oh, so that would make sense then if the.
So maybe he was owning that apartment before he died, but I don't know why they wouldn't like give Karen all his things.
But then that would make Danny's dad interesting. Do you think Danny's dad killed Regina?
Twisted.
I really think that could be a possibility.
Maybe because she was dating some guy from Connecticut.
What a dick move if he kills her and then his son gets put back in jail for it.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
You're the man, Dad.
Glad you're dead.
So Tess is.
Wonder though if Vikram killed his sister the original time.
And Danny protected
And
his
Danny
dad.
protected his dad. And then
'Cause
his dad goes and kills
His
Regina.
dad was an alcoholic. Maybe his dad beat her when he was drunk.
Oh, because she had the where
bruises.
were
The bruise, yeah.
Oh,
this is interesting.
Guys, can we do it? Twisted.
I'll never do it.
Come on. And then I gotta say the number for Tess, the 716-555-0123, is a fax number for Buffaloa Premier Sports Facility.
Really?
There you
Did
go.
you try to call it?
No, should I try to call it? It's a fax number. I don't think
Oh,
calling
you
it
can't
works.
call fax. I don't know. Who has a fax machine?
Okay, so if
your
they
facts
did
straight.
do Buffalo to Connecticut, that's a little further than like a few hours, I think. Because Buffalo is like way north.
Oh, I'm like directionally challenged, so I'm not even going to try to comment on that.
All right, so
Let's get into some news and gossip, guys.
News.
Coming.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, Danny and Joe's characters were both just nominated for Kids' Choice Awards, which is exciting.
I bet it's just because they finally kissed last episode.
That's
well,
why,
not
yeah.
Joe, but in the next episode maybe we'll see Joe. And
Well,
Danny
they've got, especially Yvonne Jojo has such a huge
following.
following anyways, so it's not surprising, but it's good for the show.
It is.
And the show is still doing great in the ratings. It's holding up there,
It is.
which is 6 episodes in for a new show. That's really good.
People can have their pre-game, Pretty Little Liars game, watching Twisted,
Yep.
drinking their wine, and then they're nice and buzzed up for when
Well, because Pretty Little
comes
Liars
on.
is pretty intense right now too,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's how Twisted, if they get picked up for more seasons, is gonna become
Yeah.
like more like edge of your
It's
seat
definitely
stuff.
like the same audience that are watching both the shows.
I think so too. Besides Stephen.
The 14-year-olds and Jason.
No,
Yep.
actually, I
I'm
did
kidding.
see something that a lot of older people are watching Pretty Little Liars and Twisted.
Really?
I don't know. I can't remember where I read that though. That's bad of me, but sorry.
That's, it's okay.
I
It's
did
a
read
fact.
that. It is a fact.
Let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'm gonna predict that Danny's dad is not dead.
I'm gonna predict that he's not dead too, and he had something to do with the aunt's death and Regina's death.
Okay, Stephen.
I'll just go with you guys' predictions. Why not? And I think that we'll probably see we're going to see a lot more with Kyle and Tess's marriage falling apart next episode, arguing over Joe mostly. And then I think we'll see Danny and his mom kind of.
And we get to see Danny with his shirt off. Even more importantly, you guys can talk to us about this and tweet us your predictions.
Where Joe and Danny hooking up.
Yeah,
Joe and Danny hooking up. Do you think they'll actually kiss?
No.
No.
I don't know. I want them to really bad.
Will they kiss?
Yes.
Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
I think we'll find out next week.
Perfect. Okay, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux, or hosting the Graceland, Dexter, and Get Out Alive with Bear Grylls after show. And
you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Heather Joy Smith.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jason Ikeler, or on the Keeping with the Kardashians after show.
I want to give a shout out to at Riozin92, Michael, who tweeted us during the show to tell us what we were wondering.
Thank you, Michael. We will see you guys in here next week, and Lena will be back as well. Goodbye.
From Bing.com. From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, Twisted!
Brett here, and those are the hosts only, not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners.